Hello, everyone.
Hello.
I am Arata, Fratta, the mayor of the city of Fitchburg. We are here to, in District 2 to provide an update of the city initiative project and also for you to have the opportunity to ask questions to us. So this is what we call community listening session. The agenda for today is we want to do the first, spend less than an hour on talking about the city update. Then you have the two alders that represent the district, Alder Bill Jetzer and Alder Gabriela Gerhardt. Alder Gerhardt is also the president of the council. And the both of them, they are in the finance committee meeting for a couple of years. So this is a good team, so you can ask any question about budget or municipal finance, because I think they know a little bit. Also, I am an accountant, so I know a little bit about this. Also, we are going to have, I invited the fire department. With us today is the fire inspection chief, Mark Malukas. I hope I say it correctly. He's going to provide an update for the fire department and staffing and some challenging. And also, I invited the parks department manager, Eric Strainer, who is going to provide an update on what we're trying to do at McKee Farm Park with the new kid crossing replacement for the playground. And then the next hour is going to be open question and discussion, comment, everything that you want to ask us. We are here to answer your question. If we don't know some of the question, we're going to tell you we don't know. We're going to check with some of the staff and then respond to you. So this is the elected official for the 26-27 Common Council meeting. Practically, we maintain the 25-26 Common Council. We have only one addition. It was Jake Lepper. Jake is this guy here who represents the District 4. He was elected in November 24 by the council because it was an open seat, and then re-elected by the community and his district in 2020, in April of 2026. As I mentioned, Gabriela is the president of the council. So what does it mean, the president of the council? She's in charge of another meeting that we have every month. They call Committee of the Whole. She's in charge of putting the agenda, facilitating that meeting. And if something happened to me, she's going to be your acting mayor. Or when I am outside the country, that it has happened, she has been the acting mayor, okay? So this is the Aldermanic map for the city. So where we are discussing now is this section. Who has that?
You can go to the next
Oh, okay. So we are talking about District 2, that is the purple. The city is around 36,000 people, so each district represents around 9,000 people, okay? So District 2 also, we are in the Madison School District, most of it. Is one of the districts that is fully developed, so there is not too much growth. We don't have too much land to grow. The only way to grow is up. And you can see in the fish hatchery corridor. So this is me, and this is all the thing that I do, but the other thing I want to mention, if you want to know more about me and what I do and some comments, I established this year for 2026 is 27, okay, sorry, is I am holding some office hour, some Thursday from 3 to 4, depending on my calendar, because remember, I have another full-time job. I am an accountant working for Wagner CPAs. So, so you will see that the city also is, most of the city publish my office hour on Facebook, but most of the Thursday from 3 to 4, I am at City Hall with these office hours. And I can go through this list. I am not going to go to all the things that I do, but I'm going to tell you that I love my job. It's becoming more like a full-time because the city is growing, but I really love what I am doing here in this job. So some of the 2026 key data from the city, as you know, we are growing. The population is almost 36,197 according to, it was January 25. We don't know the number. We're going to have another number at mid-August. Our equalized value is $6 billion, and it's growing continually. Our 2026 budget in total was $47 million. We have bond rating AAA. We acquired that in 2024. And to have a AAA bond, we are only 1 in 6 municipalities in Wisconsin that we have that. So it means that we have great finance policies in place. And this is great because when we go and issue bonds or debt, we got a special rate, an interest rate. But in order to keep that bond, we need to continue having this, we have to be a good steward of the taxpayer money, have great finance policy, and follow them. The median income in Fitchburg is $94,000. The thing that is keeping going in Fitchburg up is the average home valuation is, for 2026, is around $504,000. This number is going up. And also we want to mention that the Chamber of Commerce is one of our partners. They do all the promotion of the city. They receive room tax money from us, and they have more than 400,000 members. And our population, as you know, 63% is white, 16% Hispanic, 11% Black, Asian, and other. So we are a very well-diverse community. I want to show this graphic with the population. So you can see from 2015 to 2025, we grew approximately 10,000 people. So we are growing. We have been one of the big, I don't think that we are I think we are among the 5 communities in Wisconsin with where we are growing very fast. We used to be one of the fastest growing community. But now we are among the 5 in Wisconsin. And we are in population, we are around 25 in Wisconsin on population. So this is my vision, and I think it's the vision that I share with the Common Council, and I hope the Common Council share that with me, is what I want to do here is it's like I think everyone we agree in this, we want to be a healthy, a safe, and thriving community. And people have different ways to reach out to that, but this is my purpose, is we want to live in a community that is safe, and then we can define what does safety mean, that is growing, okay, and every neighborhood has the same opportunity. So this is my priority that I shared with the Common Council at the beginning of my 2nd term this year, and I shared that with the staff. So we are going to continue investing in public safety. We know that we have a big challenge amongst us, and it's the staffing, the police department and the fire department. The city has grown significantly, and the benchmark it means that every time that you add 1,000 people, you should be adding an extra police officer and firefighter. The city has not done that for many, many years or decades. So this is where we are right now, where we need to catch up with that. Support safe and healthy neighborhoods. This is another important priority for me. Implement and invest in housing initiative. We are going to mention all the housing initiatives that we started investing in the city. Invest in transit to enhance connectivity. Invest in public infrastructure. You can see that your tax dollar money we are investing in improving parks, roads, building a water tower in the east part of the city. We are continuing investing in public infrastructure and parks. I love parks, so I'm going to continue investing in park. You know what I mean? So that one is, you can come after me, and I'm going to say, I believe in all the benefits that parks bring to community, and I'm going to continue investing in parks. Be the best employer in the region. If we want to have companies that they move to Fitchburg, that they provide good salary benefit for the employee, we should do the same with our own employees. So for me, every time that I put together my budget, my priority is the city staff. I want them to have the good benefit. They have at least a 2% COLA every time. And the other thing that I have done since I became mayor, so far they had 3 months pay for family leave. It could be maternity leave, family leave. We implemented that. And my idea is every year, at least if I have capacity in the budget, to add another week. So this is what we have implemented since 2023. And also we want to be a sustainable champion city, and we have a lot of good initiatives to make our city sustainable. One of the things that I implemented since I became mayor is we need to electrify our vehicle fleet, the one that we can do. So far we have more than 10 electric vehicles in the city, and we got the $7,500 rebate from the federal government. We don't have those rebates anymore because the Trump administration got everything out. But even we have 4 pickup trucks, I think we use in the park department and in the public works, and they love it. The other thing is what we're doing today. One of my priorities is to enhance resident engagement and outreach, is to meet the neighbors where they are, and to be here and doing this listening session, and now I am doing my office hour, and last fall I did coffee with the mayor, is to be out there. So you can come to me with any concern, feedback, and let me know. I am a big girl and can take it. If you are unhappy with something happening in the city, I want to know. We want to know, because this is the way we move the city forward. And maintain, a fiscally responsible tax policies. We want to keep our taxes affordable, okay? But on the other hand, we are under pressure because we receive a lot of email and concern of people that say, we want this, we want this, we want this. But yeah, but it costs money, okay? So, but then if you look at we can show you at the end on a slide. If you look at when people complain, the taxes in Fitchburg are out of control. The only thing I want to tell all of you is I have control of the Fitchburg part. We have control because we put the budget together. The Fitchburg part. When we send the bill, unfortunately, we send a bill that for the Madison School District, for Dane County, Madison College, and people think that we get all the money ourselves. I hope so, but no. So we only get 1/3 of the money, okay? And in an average home, it's around $2,700 that we get from that. It's around $200-something a month for all the excellent benefit that we provide. So we have control of that part. And if you look, our tax rate have been increasing in line with inflation. This is my goal, because we are not immune to inflation as a municipality. And we need to absorb that inflation in our budget. So this is the city update. I am not going to go in detail because you can ask those questions. Yes, sir?
Speaking of taxes, I understand.
Do we have a microphone? Oh, Gabriela, can you take it?
I understand our property taxes go to Fitchburg and to the school district and blah, blah, blah. But a couple months ago, I tried Googling this, tried to find out how Fitchburg's taxes compared to other municipalities. Well, I thought you could Google everything there is, but that you can't, because it's just, because of the way that the property taxes are, it's the mill rate and the assessed values and that sort of thing, and they're different in different municipalities. So I couldn't do it. So how does one do it, number one, and number two, how do we compare?
I think if you look at our audit, the city has to do an audit every year. And if you look at, I think Baker Tilly is our audit firm. I think they do some benchmark there and compare our financial, some of the metric with other municipalities the same size that we are. But I need to go back and take a look at that. Okay?
I'll just jump in and say that if you Google for Wisconsin Department of Revenue, municipal finances, you can find the website, and it'll have, I think going back like every year back to 2020 only, but you can get a spreadsheet, and it'll show you every municipality in the state, every city, every village, every town, all 1,500, whatever it comes out to. And there's a whole bunch of statistics on there, and the ones that you'd probably be most interested in is the population and the general property tax levy. And if you divide those, you can get, what is the property tax per resident that the city collects, you'd be able to directly compare those. You wouldn't be able to say the average single-family home in Fitchburg versus the average single-family home in Verona. That's just not going to be in there. But you could look at it on a per capita basis.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Thank you, Bill. And I think, Bill, you put together a couple of slides and graphic for me about that, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, maybe we can share that with you. Yeah. So the citywide update, what we are working right now is the 2027-23, the proposed capital improvement plan was approved Tuesday night by the council. That one is our infrastructure budget for 10 years. This is a plan, but the first 5 years are vetted projects. It means that there are projects that are going to come in the next 5 years. So the other thing that we are doing is finalizing the city strategic framework. I think I'm going to have this project done by the end of the summer. The city in motion is our economic development strategic update. It's something that we are working, and today we have a great roundtable with developers. 60 people show up that we are working on how do we envision Fitchburg to grow economically, how we want to build more mixed-use development. So this plan is going to be ready by the fall. The City Hall renovation is another big project. As you know, the police department is moving to the new facility in April of 2027, and then we have to renovate the basement of City Hall, but also we decided to do a full renovation of the entire building because it's almost a 30-year-old building. There is a lot of spaces that we don't use. We need a space. We need to have a better workflow for our employees. We need more conference rooms. So that one is the city council approved on Tuesday night the funding for this project. We are already, as you know, continue working on road resurfacing and reconstruction. We have a plan every year, and we have, how many miles do you in public works? Or miles that we work? Almost 2 miles per year? I don't know. Yeah. Bill is also in the chair of public works. So something that we started a couple of weeks ago is we need to do an update of our comprehensive plan. The last time we did it was in 2009, but it wasn't a comprehensive plan at that time. It was more like a refresh. So now the project started, and we are also doing a zoning code revision because we haven't done a zoning code revision in more than 50 years. And we need to update our zoning to make it more flexible and remove a lot of barriers so we can build more houses in Fitchburg. The other thing that we are doing is exploring the EMS and fire consolidation with other municipalities. We started a study that maybe Chief can explain, I don't know, in detail. But this is like we're working with 6 other municipalities to determine if we can create a district, fire and EMS together. Because we notice maintaining a fire department and EMS department is becoming very, very expensive for municipality. We have a lot of issues with staffing, retention. So there is a lot of money from the state to work for municipality to have regional district and the innovation grant. So we are exploring. If at the end of the day, when the study is done, it's going to be done in the fall, we decided that it doesn't work for Fitchburg, okay, but at least we try to do something different. The other thing that we are working,
I found how much road we're doing in my notes. 2.6 miles of road resurfacing, and 0.3 miles of park paths, 11,000 tons of asphalt.
Thank you, Gabriel. The other thing that we're working with Oregon is the Oregon Fitchburg Shared Development in the south corner or southeast of the city, because, as you know, the Oregon School District purchased a parcel to build a middle school way back. This project is coming forward in the next couple of years, but they need the water and sewer is in Oregon. We are not planning to extend our water and sewer to that, so we are working with the Oregon village to determine how we can have this shared development. The other thing is a youth correctional that the state is building in Fitchburg. They also will need the water and sewer, and everything is coming from Oregon. And since we have a lot of parcels over there, so we need to determine can we build something there in those parcels. So we are working with CARP-C on this. And also we are working continually. Our economic development team are working every single day how to retain the businesses that we have here and attract new businesses. As you know, if you look at where the target area is, there is a lot of new business coming there. We are working also to bring more a supermarket in the east part of the city of Fitchburg, in the uptown Terravesa area. So they are continuously working with prospect to attract business, because the idea is that we can do all our shopping here in Fitchburg. Okay? One of the things that I want to work very hard is, I remember when I moved here 22 years ago, the realtor sold us this cute community, a bedroom community, 10 minutes away from the university, because my husband came to work for the university, and he said, oh, I can show you a cute bedroom community. And I don't want Fitchburg to be a bedroom community. I want to be a community where we can walk, we can have all the shop here. You know, we have 3 great school districts here, so I want the residents to don't have to go to do shopping in Madison or Middleton or go to Costco in Verona, okay? So our economic development team, they work every day very hard to retain and attract new businesses. So what I want to mention about this is that I mentioned that the council just approved the capital improvement plan. One of this is a roadmap to guide the city on major investment, okay, capital project, vehicle, I want to mention, for example, a new fire ladder truck. It used to cost $1.2 million in 2017. Now it costs $3.5 million, So, and we need to plan for those big expenses. And we need to know how we are going to fund this, Most of the money, when we buy this big equipment, we use debt. So for the next year, the city, this plan is, we are going to invest almost $11 million in the fire department. That one is vehicle and equipment is radio. What else? There's plenty of stuff, yeah. The police department, we are going to invest $6 million plus the $31 million that we are already investing in the new police facility. Park system, I told you that I love park, $14 million coming in parks. Public works is sewer, water, extension, plow. We need to build this plow to clean the snow. It costs almost $1 million, So we are investing $40 million in the next 10 years, and road and street, $51 million. So I mentioned that we're working in housing initiative. I am not going to go in detail of that. If you want to ask me a question, I can go that. The housing stock. So one number that I want to show you, in the 2025, we should be building more than 100 single-family units. And people are going to say, why we are not doing? Because we don't have the land. And the people that own the land, they don't want to sell the land, or they're asking for an insane amount of money. Okay? So we are making the effort. So last year, in total, we built 477 units for multifamily. The other thing I want to mention, that people say, oh, you're building too many apartments, blah, 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 blah. I want to tell you something. People are living longer in apartments, okay? When I was doing doors this before April, I had the opportunity to talk to many people living in this area that have lived here in apartment for more than 15, 20 years, even in Southdale, even in Uptown. Because what is happening is young people now and professional is, because housing is so expensive, the average person, the average age for a person is almost 40 years to buy your first home. I am looking at my kids right now. They have good job. They are 25 and 27 years old. I don't know those kids are going to be able to buy a home if I don't help them with the down payment. To buy a house in Fitchburg costs $500,000 on Dane County, because this is not a Fitchburg issue. It's a Dane County, state, and nation. So it costs an average $500,000. It means that you need to have between $80,000 and $100,000 in down payment. Who has that with the economic situation that this country is going now? With inflation 4%, with tax interest rate at 6%. So what we're going to tell you is that we have a lot of people that are living in apartments longer, okay? Or they want to live in an apartment, they don't want to own a house, too. So, yeah.
Go back to that slide, sorry, with the numbers. Usually I don't need a microphone, but I understand you're recording.
Yeah.
Can you help us understand the numbers in that chart? So if I just look at 2009,
Yeah, that one was
does
after the
it
crisis.
mean that 27 new single-family homes were built?
Yes, correct. It's down-
0 duplexes were built?
Yeah,
3 in a category called multifamily?
Yeah,
And what is the 59 then?
it's the total unit.
Total, okay,
Yeah.
so that's the total number of multifamily units we had in Fitchburg in
Yeah,
2009.
yeah.
So then if we move to 2010, we built 3 more
Yeah,
and 2 more duplexes, but then we suddenly only had 12?
yeah, I don't know. This
I'm
is
a
yeah.
little lost by those
Yeah,
numbers,
I
so that's
can
what
double check that number.
I'm trying to
yeah.
understand. But what we're saying, like in 2025, the last
Yeah.
number there, we have 477 multifamily, like apartments or buildings that are
Apartments.
individual
Units.
apartments.
Yeah, units.
Well, that implies that only 477 total people could, or families could live in
No, that one is
Fitchburg.
different because we don't know. Some of those apartments are 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom, or 3 bedroom. It
That's the
depends.
number that were built,
Yeah.
not the total number in the city.
Right,
Yeah.
but then what's the difference between the multifamily column and the total multifamily units?
The multi-family means that there were 7 buildings.
Right. So anyway, I
Yeah.
don't think the math is working there. Anyway, I was just trying to understand what the purpose of this
Yeah, yeah.
slide, so
Yeah,
thank
no,
you.
that one is, yeah, that one, this slide is provided by the economic development team. And my understanding is, this is what they told me, there were 7 multifamily buildings, you know?
On average, they had
An average
about
half of,
65
yeah.
units each.
Yeah. Some, some apartment, they have like 100 units, some apartment, no, I want to tell you. Some multifamily apartment, they have 100 units. Some of them, they have 120 or 150, you know what I mean? So it depends, yeah,
And evidently in 2010, those were fourplexes.
yeah.
So it isn't the total that we have in Fitchburg, it's the total.
No, we are looking by year, yeah.
The total new
Yeah.
that we have in Fitchburg
Yeah,
each year.
new
Got it.
construction.
Okay,
yeah,
thank you.
yeah. Okay, thank you. The other thing is we are working, as you know, on the corner of Fish. What is the other one? Late. Is the new police facility is going to be done by April of 2027. And the other thing I want to mention to you, if you want to receive information from the city, I don't know, I am assuming that most of you are connected to the city. So you can go to the Fitchburg website and go to notify me. It's a column on the left, and you enter your email or your cell phone, and you're going to receive. And you can check and pick and check what type of information do you want to receive. The other thing is that we other way to be engaged with us. Some of us, I see some of you receive my newsletter. I send quarterly. Gabriela sends a monthly blog. And then we have social media, and also the city. We have something new this year. We implemented our e-newsletter, a monthly one. It was launched in February. It's another way that you can subscribe to that, and information is, I think it's on the table. You can go onto the table and get a lot of information from us. So you can scan this QR code to have access to the city communication website. The other thing new recently is our new mobile app. Okay, I already downloaded in my phone, and I can, if I go for a walk on my key and there is a city meeting, I can listen to the meeting. So this is great. This is where you can go and access to this platform. The other thing that we are doing is this year we are working on the 2027 budget, and many residents had mentioned in the past that, hey, we want to be part, we want to have some comments and we want to participate, or we want to tell you what are our priorities. So we launched the Fitchburg 2027 budget survey. There is a QR code that I want to show shortly, where you can access. We have an online version, and there are a couple of questions. And if you are willing to do that, we appreciate, because we are going to take your feedback when we put together the budget. Okay. That one is 22 priority. I am not going to go through that. So the 2027 budget, I want to mention that. August 26th, the committee of the whole meeting, we are going to talk about the 2027 priority. You can watch the meeting. You can come to City Hall to participate in the discussion. September 18, so I'm going to be working this month on August. I have already, I don't know how many meetings to work on the budget. And September 18, I need to have my first draft of the budget, no, the final budget posted on social media, out there. And then it's going to be out for almost 2 months for you guys to review it, send comment, and the council, they will have the opportunity to send amendments, write amendment to the budget. And the deadline is October 14, and by November 10, the Common Council will have a public hearing, and we are going to adopt the 2027 budget. So I will recommend you guys participate, because I want to be honest with you. Last year, no one showed up to any public hearing. And then everyone was bitching in social media about our budget, okay? So I would prefer that you come, tell us what you think, send us email. When we just approved this Tuesday, when we approved the capital improvement plan, we didn't have anyone show up, So 2 people? Huh? Oh, yeah, 2 people that we know, and they come on the meeting. But I will say that in November 10 is the Common Council will approve the budget for 2027. This is the budget survey that I mentioned here. The online version is there. And what else? And I am done with my section, and now the 2 districts for the ALDE will do the, yes?
So I went online and I did the budget.
Okay, good.
A little light.
Huh?
A little light. I think you could expand it and ask, just repeat for the,
Yeah.
I went online and did the survey. I think it's light.
Yeah.
I think it's, if you're willing to sit there and do, just essay type things and that, but just asking, the questions, what's your top 3 priorities, which ones would you give up, which ones whatever. I thought the survey would have a little more numbers in it, like we spend $2 million on parks every single year, what if, okay? We spent this much, for the city's $40 million budget or whatever it is. So I just, I was a little sort of amazed how little is in that survey.
I'm going to tell you, that survey, I did it together with Alder Micah Ladoucet. He's the chair of Finance Committee. And this is our first survey, okay? So any comment to improvement for next year, I take it. Send me an email and say, hey, for next year, you should do that. I am open to, for.
So I ran through the CIP.
Okay.
And I looked at the Alder proposed amendments to the plan. When are you posting the CIP that got voted on and what was approved?
I think Misty is going to do it when she needs to finalize the amendment that were approved. Yeah, because she needs to work on all the new numbers now.
Unless I guess you could sit down and watch the whole meeting and see how the vote went, but skip through a few.
Okay, it was a fun meeting.
Who, the Alder that put the $2 million reduction in the renovation, did that pass?
No, because it wasn't too much clarity with that.
What was the vote?
I think there were like.
It was a split vote.
It's split vote. There was 3. It was a roll call, so you can see when the minutes are uploaded to the website. Because I did roll call for every. I think it was 3 to 5. 3 no and 5 yes.
It's also important to note that it's very early in the process. If you go back and watch
Yeah.
that section of the meeting, you'll hear that there is currently a 25% contingency
Contingency.
built in
Yeah.
to hit that $12 million number. So if it's 25%, then we're really thinking it's 9.6, but right now there's a lot of wild cards, so let's
Yeah.
just be very, very conservative.
And the other thing that we decided tonight, because we have a great discussion about this, is maybe when staff put together the RFP, they're going to do some of the
some of the features that we're planning on will be optional.
yeah. And I'm going to tell you something. When we did for the police facility, we budgeted $40 million, and it came at 31. So.
After you took a bunch of stuff out.
No. The size of the police facility was the same. And this one was a key point. So, okay, thank you.
Hello, hello. So we're the District 2 Alders, and I know you had a quick introduction, but I'm Gabriela Gerhardt. I know many of you, but thank you so much for being here tonight. I was elected in April of 2020, and I've been on the council ever since. I serve currently on the Finance Committee and on Transportation Transit and Plan Commission. And I also serve as the council president, as the mayor mentioned. And then Bill?
Bill Jetzer, your second favorite District 2 Alder. I was elected in April of 23, so I'm halfway through my second term right now. And I'm chair of Board of Public Works. I'm on the Resource Conservation Commission, the Finance Committee. Oh yes, Housing Advisory Committee.
And we'll give some updates. We'll split these slides a little bit, but I guess you should come this way, or we should split so we could see the. But yeah, so some parks updates. Fitchburg District 2 has some great parks, including this wonderful Hostahochi building. If you haven't been, anyone watching online hasn't been, gorgeous playground, bike pump track, great basketball court, and then this beautiful indoor building that you can rent. We just finalized all the details about how you can rent the building, so it's available for rent now. Also, McKee Farms Park is going to have a kids crossing. It's going to be updated. That wonderful wooden playground.
To the next slide, because then we can point out.
Oh.
Parks. One of them says parks. There we go.
Oh, there it is. Yeah. Yeah, Kids Crossing is going to be there. Yeah, we have Hostahochi up there in the corner, which is where we are currently. And then another park amenity, Kyle Stiegert Greenway, is a private effort to do this wonderful greenway off of the bike path, and it is underway currently. We have some people in the room that have done a lot of work towards that beautiful space. And then we've got a new basketball, tennis, pickleball at Chicory Meadows, which was just opened recently. And then a couple of events, if you want to check out the Community Night Out, which the police department organizes is going to be McKee Farms Park next week, August 12th. Oh, not next week, the week after next, August 12th. Great community event, always really wonderful, tons of activities, free food. It's really a fun night. And then also concerts at McKee. The next one is on August 17th. So hopefully it'll cool off a little bit by then, and we can enjoy the concerts. And then do you want to?
Sure. Let's go to the housing. There you go. So a couple housing updates. And so, Rick, you'll be interested in this because I can tell you that Bowman Plaza is a single building, and it's going to have 278 units. So that's going to contribute to our 2026 and or 2027 numbers. Yeah, there's everybody familiar with where that is? Just north of Post Road here. They're getting ready to demolish the existing building. The fire department and the police department have been training in there for what, 3 or 4 months now? 3 months. Yeah, 3 months. So that will wind up being Fitchburg's tallest building. It'll be 7 stories tall, 5 floors of housing, and some retail space on the bottom floor, and then 2 levels of structured parking underneath. So just down the road just a little bit here, we're sitting right here in Hostahochi, and surrounding us kind of is the Renew Apartments. This used to be the Fairways, still labeled that way on the map. All of these guys got a facelift in the last year or so. I'm not sure, was it like $20 million worth of renovations were put in there? And new ownership, yes. And then right next door to us, just over there, there's an empty lot. E.J. Plesko is a developer. They tried a couple of years ago to get a building up here, and that didn't pan out with rapid inflation that occurred during COVID. They're going to try again. The plan is to have 2 70-unit buildings here, and those would be affordable at 30 to 80% of area median income. And I don't know that there's any other housing going on in District 2.
Yeah, no other housing, but there is, right next to Bowman Plaza, there's a City on a Hill Church is being renovated. I'm sure many of you have seen that if anyone's drove down the street. That's getting pretty close to completion. And then also right across the street from there, and right next to UW Credit Union, there's a new building going up. The fencing just went up for it. The UPS store that's now near the Walgreens is actually going to move into that space, and there'll be space for another tenant there as well. So that's a brand new building that's going up and should kind of anchor that corner in a way that's a little bit more attractive than it's been in the past. So we're excited about that. And then and then infrastructure updates. Do you want
Tag team it.
Oh yeah, I guess I can mention that. I'll start with the bus rapid transit. So right now we have Route B. It goes down Fish Hatchery Road and kind of terminates right there at Caddis Bend near the, Cadoba over there. That line will eventually go all the way down towards McKee Farms Park and terminate right at Triverton and McKee. And there will be a charging station for the electric buses that will be there. That hopefully we can extend that route even a little sooner than when the bus rapid transit infrastructure is supposed to go in, but that could be as soon as 2027, assuming things continue to move forward. But then also we have other bus routes in the city, and the plan is actually to improve those 2 bus routes. So the first one is Route 75, which also comes down Fish Hatchery Road, but then goes down McKee into Verona. It's very heavily used by Epic employees. We would like to make that a fixed route, which means that would be all-day service plus service on the weekends. And then that cross, there's basically it would be near the termination point of that Route B. So it would be near, so you could potentially transfer from Route B to the 75. We also have the 65, which is that it's now a commuter route, and it actually ends right around like the Agora Pavilion where the farmers market is. The plan is to actually extend that route so it ends at the same place that the Route B ends, and then also make that route all-day service and weekend service so it's actually more functional, and that can serve as kind of like a mini local transfer point and connect those 2 parts of the city. Right now, there's really no feasible way to get from like a place like Terravesa on the east side all the way over to the west side of the city. There's no way to do that except to go into the city of Madison and come back down, and certainly no way to get there on the weekend. So we're looking to expand that as soon as we are able, but the Madison Metro is sort of the limiting factor there.
We've had a lot of issues with the intersection of Greenway and Coho over the years. I think our transportation engineer says that is the worst intersection in the city in terms of crashes. And so what we've got there for the past, how long? Over a year, okay, is a temporary roundabout that was put in. And so we've got data now for about a year, and it seems to be helping. So I guess at some point we would make that a permanent. We'd put in some permanent infrastructure there to make that a little safer. Hard to see at the bottom here, but current road work that's happening in District 2. Most of the road work is happening in District 1 and 4, but there's a bit in District 2. Down in the Tower Hill neighborhood, water main is being replaced, and once the new water main is in, then the roads will be resurfaced. A couple other things that are coming in the future. Right outside, here we are at Hostahochee at the dot, right outside our door here, along Traceway, there's a multi-use path along Fish Hatchery Road, so we're going to connect that along Traceway and then up along Post Road and meet up with the Cannonball Trail. And that should be happening sometime around 2030. And then along McKee Road, there's water main work that needs to be done along the south side of McKee. And if all goes well, we can get a grant. And the idea is that once that water main work is done, we can upgrade from a sidewalk along here to a multi-use path and connect to the existing multi-use path that starts on the west side of Seminole and takes you, west from there.
And then I added a few other updates that are around the city. Oh, do we have a photo happening? I don't want to.
Have they released drawings or whatever? Have they released drawings for bus rapid transit yet? What will Fish Hatchery look like? And this charging station, will it be as big as the charging station on the west side of Madison, like out where Menards and all that is, and what is that, Junction Road or whatever? But I would hate to think that they're going to paint part of Fish Hatchery red like they did Mineral Point and East Wash and shrink traffic even worse than it is now.
Yes, there are early concept drawings that we've looked at in transportation transit, but it's not full designed plans yet for the bus rapid transit. But the decision was made to not do center running stations like what you see in City of Madison. That's for several reasons, but basically they will be on opposite sides of the street. Surprisingly, that's actually not an increase in the budget. That's about the same amount of money to do that. It's actually less. It's actually less cost. Yeah, it's a cost-saving measure. Yeah, so they're going to be there'll be a station on either side of the road, and it's going to be slightly fewer stops. There's going to be one at Greenway Cross, one at Post Road, one at High Ridge Trail, which they'll add a stoplight there. That's like where the Fitchburg Family Pharmacy is. And then there'll be one, a same area on Caddis Bend, and then that termination point. And I haven't seen that one you're talking about. I don't think it's going to be quite as big as the ones in Madison. We have, slightly smaller areas, but it's important that it has that charging infrastructure for the electric buses. And then also it's a restroom facility for the bus drivers at the end point. Yeah, and a small multi-use path, and that's a pretty decent place for it because there's not a ton built out right there, so there's space to put the transfer point there. And a couple other city updates. Gigi's some nonprofit facilities. Gigi's Playhouse is locating their facility here in Fitchburg. They are in construction right now, so that is coming. Also, A Grace is creating the country's first dementia village. That is also under construction. We just passed zoning for that to get started very soon. YMCA is also locating on McKee Road, for those of you that haven't heard the news. That will open sometime in 2028, so we're very excited about that. A couple of amenities that you might not be aware of that are new. We do have a compost drop-off that's available in the city. We run the program with Dane County. It's called the Food Scrap Stop, and it is located currently in Swan Creek. If you're interested, I highly recommend you sign up on our website. You have to put in a little information to say that you understand how to use it, and then you can get the code to get into the compost bins. But I think we have over 11,000 tons of, 11,000 pounds, not tons, 11,000 pounds of yeah, and 338 registered users. So if you're interested in composting, we do have that available now. Also, there's something called the Neven Springs Boardwalk. It's in that wonderful environmental corridor we have over there. Promega built this boardwalk that's open to the public that takes you to a nice public spring. If you're interested, really nice little open amenity thanks to Promega. And then also wanted to mention the organizations that support some of our resources in the city. So the Friends of the Fitchburg Parks just got started. If you're interested, they have a website and you can sign up for our updates. They already are doing, public improvement projects in the park, and they will be doing more in future years. And then just mention the ones that already exist, the Fitchburg Senior Center Friends, which does a ton of great work. Friends of the Fitchburg Library, they just had one of their fundraisers recently. And then also the Fitchburg Law Enforcement Foundation. All of those are very active, so if you're interested in getting involved, those are some options for you. And are we going to go through? Yeah, I think we're going to skip this, but this is like kind of talking about some of the Fish Hatchery Road reinvestments. Oh, Ferry Lounge is a new, right where the old Benvenuto's is now a indoor golf simulator. So if you haven't checked that out, that's exciting. And we'll go to the fire department.
Hi, my name is Mark. I'm a division chief with Fitchburg Fire Department. My usual role is fire prevention. I do public education. I help with all of the new development that you've seen on the screen. We help set where fire hydrants are supposed to go. We have to make sure that fire trucks can get through the site. I work with the developers and city staff on all of those things. And then last but not least, whenever we do have a fire, arson investigation is one of my other responsibilities. So today, I've been asked to talk about a couple of the challenges that we've had with the fire department, as well as some opportunities that come out of those challenges. So funding is a challenge. We know that. We've been talking about budgets this entire listening session. It dominates most of our news feed. Within the fire department, we have done what I think is a very good job of making sure that we're being extremely responsible with the funds that we have to work with. We have done things internally to make sure that we're not incurring additional costs. Little things like one thing that firefighters strive on is training. So we do a whole lot of internal training, even more than we used to, as opposed to sending people out to external trainings. But little things like that, just to help cost savings, make sure that we're being as responsible as we can, making our equipment, making sure that it's maintained appropriately. We're firefighters. We beat up our equipment just by the nature of the job that we do. So we try to make sure that that equipment is maintained in-house as much as possible to enhance the longevity of that equipment. Retention. That is a sort of fire service problem nationwide. We're experiencing here in Fitchburg. Getting and keeping firefighters is different than it used to be. The old quote-unquote volunteer model nationwide just doesn't work anymore. Businesses aren't allowing their employees to go out and provide those volunteer hours. It's getting to be that within the fire service we are jacks of all trades, master of none. So we have so much learning and so many certificates, so many opportunities to always expand our service that it gets hard for people to do that on a volunteer basis. So more and more, what we're forced to do is when our people are on staff, we pay them, right? Keeping them has been a challenge. We have a really robust intern program, and the intent of that intern program is to bring people in after high school, teach them how to be firefighters, what does it mean to be a Fitchburg firefighter, and to do all of those things. But really what we're doing is we're setting those kids up to have a nice long future in the fire service. And sometimes that doesn't mean Fitchburg. Sometimes they have dreams of going elsewhere. So one of the things that we're constantly trying to do is ensure that we have, number one, a full staff, but number two, a well-trained staff. So retention is always an issue and always a challenge for us to get up. Some of the opportunities that we're trying to take advantage of to sort of reduce those challenges are grant opportunities. We're applying for more grants than we have in the past. Things like firehouse subs. They provide an equipment grant every once in a while, typically yearly at least, to try and make sure that we're in the pool to get any of those monies that are available. There'll be other grant opportunities. We've actually got one gentleman who comes in, he's part of our support staff, and he is exceptionally well adept at finding and sort of giving us new opportunities to apply for grants that maybe we didn't even know about. So we've been really active with trying to get new grants. Consolidation has been the big talk lately. There is an innovation grant that's put out from the state that provides money for fire departments, for city departments, for other departments, municipal departments to consolidate and hopefully combine their services as a cost-saving measure. Fitchburg Fire Department has been active in sort of looking into this consolidation potential. So will we consolidate? We don't know if that's right for us. What's happening right now is that there's a consulting group that is sort of doing a study with all of the interested departments in municipalities around the area. They will provide guidance to everybody on this study. Some of the big benefits of consolidation, there wouldn't be a loss of service necessarily, but some of the expenses would be spread out over multiple municipalities. So an example that's used that I've heard several times is, say, ladder trucks. Right now, as municipalities, we all have, because we need, our ladder trucks. If we were to consolidate into sort of an area-wide fire department, we may be able to take those ladder trucks, spread them out, and actually provide service to more area with the existing trucks that we have. So it's just a function of trying to be as efficient as possible with that consolidation. And then last but not least, increased collaboration. We're reaching out to, so Bowman Plaza was mentioned by the alders just a few minutes ago. We reached out to the development team for the new Bowman Plaza, and we've been able to access that building for a very long time to provide some of the training for our fire department members that they can't get otherwise. For those who aren't familiar with the building, basically the upstairs is a very long hallway with a lot, how many offices do you think? 30-ish? 30 to 50 offices, depending on how you spread it out. It provides a training opportunity that we just don't get otherwise. So we're trying to capitalize on things like that. Collaboration with other departments. Our suburb to the north, the city of Madison, has come in and trained with us at Bowman Plaza quite a bit. And that's an effort to make sure that when we show up to a fire in Madison or they show up to a fire in Fitchburg, that we've all already worked together and we've done those things. Verona, Village of Oregon, other departments around the area have also been in the area to partake in some of that training that Bowman has offered. So we're really appreciative of that. With that, I'm going to turn it over. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So some of you, yep. Some of you may have noticed there were shipping containers behind our fire station on Lacey Road. They were sort of sitting in the parking lot for a little bit. The fire services recognize that those shipping containers actually make excellent ways to provide in-house training. So at a very, very low cost for each of those shipping containers, we can build mazes, we can build search and rescue rooms, we can make them double stacked. We can do a whole lot of things with those shipping containers and actually turn it into a training center, which is something that Fitchburg really hasn't had in the past. Having been on the team that worked on the ISO rating, having a training center for our ISO, our insurance services offices, was always one of the low spots in our ISO ratings. So this will help us bump that up as well, which should, with a little bit of luck, have a direct influence on your insurance rates. You betcha.
Good evening, everyone. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Eric Schreiner. I'm the Parks and Forestry Manager for the City of Fitchburg. I'm going to be very brief here to allow enough time for you guys to ask our alders and Julia as many questions as possible. So I'm mainly going to be advertising and soliciting public comment for our current first version concepts of Kids Crossing. Kids Crossing has extended its useful lifespan, its realistic lifespan, with some governing agencies that oversee kind of the safety protocols and practices for playgrounds. So it is necessitating to be renovated, and we're looking to get as much input as we can to help tailor these designs. So I encourage you guys to hop on this website, take a look at some of the copies that are up here. I have some printed copies for you that you can take a look at and share. But I do encourage you to check out the website, go through all of the concepts. There are some FAQs on there as well, and we are taking public comments through this first period until next week, Wednesday, at which the August 6th Parks Commission meeting will be reviewing the public comments received thus far and providing recommendations and input and revisions on these first iterations of concepts. I really hope you guys take the time to do it. If you have grandkids or kids, encourage their input as well, and it will be very much appreciated. And really what I'm looking for and what we are is, what do you like? What don't you like? Is there some feature that you saw in another playground somewhere that we'd really like to see tie into this one that you thought was unique? That's the stuff that's really going to help us. So I would appreciate it if you take the time to do that. And please submit it before next week, Thursday. Yes, ma'am. It's so she asked what is the size of it in relation to the current playground. It is slightly larger. It would be moving to the east, which is towards the entrance to the park or the tennis court side of it, but it's slightly larger. I can't recall exactly what the square footage is, but it's definitely not decreasing in size. It is increasing. All right, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
All right, so I think we can do questions now. If anyone has any questions, we'll pass you the mic and we will take those one by one.
I actually have maybe 2 questions / comments, not related to Kids Crossing. So is that what we're talking about now?
Yeah.
Pardon me?
Wide open.
Wide open, okay. Just remember you said that. The first one is just a comment. I know the city plants a lot of trees every year, and we're not watering those trees, and then they die. There were 5 that died in Chicory Meadows area alone last year, and then again this spring we planted more trees, and again we're having a dry summer, which seems to be the par for the course, and they're dying. And I know that staff there isn't enough staff to keep them watered, at least that's what I was told when I contacted Anna. So my suggestion is, and I know that the trees primarily are paid for with grants, but it's still a waste of resources. So my suggestion is to scale back the number that we're planting so that we can maintain them, and actually plant them in the fall where they have winter snowfall and spring rain to give them a better start. But it really breaks my heart to see these trees just wither and die. So that's my first one. My second one, my second comment is, well, question, are we going to have the med drop back at the police station? No. Well, I'll tell you, med drop serves 2 purposes. It makes families safer, and it's better for the environment. And I know that we have limited resources, but I would like to see us prioritize things like that instead of spending money on symbolic gestures. Not that symbolic gestures are necessarily bad, but when money is tight, I mean, why can't we prioritize family safety and environmental safety? I'm really disappointed that we have to go to other communities that are able to provide med drop, and Fitchburg is not.
Eric can answer the question about the trees.
So regarding the trees, one nice thing is, granted it's not a cop-out, but we do have a 1-year warranty when these are installed too. If trees do die, we have the opportunity to replace them from the existing contractor who did install them, so that's at least good that they're not entirely going to waste. However, during these drought conditions, we are performing watering, yet our capabilities are somewhat limited, I will recognize that. We are having neighborhood organizations and neighborhood associations complete some assistance in watering as well. This is one thing to where I potentially see Friends of Fitchburg Parks maybe being able to help within a volunteer capacity as well. But we're certainly trying what we can as well. In the past several weeks, since it has been substantially dry, we have been performing more watering than we have in the past.
And the other thing that I mentioned to to city staff is maybe we can see if the fire department can help us to, if the dry continue, the draw, because I know that they deliver some water to some community gardens. If we can, they can help if they have time to water in those trees. This is another option, but it's last resort. So, what about the other? Oh, that one is a question that I need to ask the police department I want to understand why they discontinue this, because they made the decision, and this is something that I can check with the chief, if they can reinstate that. Yeah.
RCC worked very hard. The Resource Conservation Commission worked very, very hard to get MedDrop in the city.
Yeah.
I thought that it was extremely poor that the police department just discontinued it without even consulting any of the other committees. I mean, I don't think that should be a one-department decision.
No. Did you have that discussion in RCC?
No, they didn't. I was on RCC when that happened.
Oh, well, yeah,
They did not.
Yeah, Diana, this is a great question, and I can follow up with the chief.
That's not, in my opinion, that's not a team player.
In case anyone, in case anyone is urgently looking to dispose of their meds, you can go to the Hy-Vee pharmacy on Fisher-Owner Road, and they have a MedDrop there.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Good to know.
Hy-Vee does. Yep.
Oh, okay. Good to know. Huh? Oh, yeah, good, yeah. Okay.
Hey, since Julia mentioned how expensive a ladder truck is,
Yeah.
and then Bill mentioned how the tallest building in Fitchburg will be constructed just down the street here, and then our fire chief mentioned how sharing ladder trucks would be beneficial. It seems like ladder trucks are an important part of our budget. So when we build a 7-story building, are we adding a new cost that we wouldn't have if we had shorter buildings?
What I know, and maybe Chief, you participate in the development team meetings sometime. So every time that we have a development coming to the city of Fitchburg, we implemented like 2-3 years ago, we call development meetings. Every Tuesday at 2 o'clock, everyone that wants to build something in Fitchburg, they come to those meetings, and there is a group of people in the meeting. And it's not only economic development, finance, public works, but the fire department is. So the fire department review all of those renderings. So if, I don't know, you participate in those meetings, Chief, can you mention that?
Yeah, so we're hurt for space in Fitchburg. There isn't any more land, right? So what it's forcing developers to do is build up. Some of that causes challenges for us as we bring in, equipment, but there are limits to how high a ladder truck can go. Even some of the taller ones only are reaching about 105 feet right now. Our buildings are much taller than that. There also is this, without being too much of a geek, you have to sort of set your fire truck back a little bit so that you can get a safe angle to get to that. So you lose some of your height with that 105 feet, right? One of the things that developers are forced to do, and we talk about this in the development team meetings, is make sure that we have fire lane access to the buildings or ways to get to those higher parts of the buildings. But the other part of that is when they install their fire suppression systems, as they go higher, there are additional requirements to make sure that those buildings are protected by fire protection systems. So that's one way that we can manage, so to speak, some of those higher buildings. If you weren't able to do that, you wouldn't have the skyscrapers that you have in some of the bigger cities, and you certainly wouldn't have some of the taller buildings that you have in the city of Madison. So does that sort of answer your question? No? Will you repeat the question for me?
We own a ladder truck, and it sounds like we're trying to buy a new one.
No, we replace them and
Do we have to buy a new one because now we'll have a 7-story building?
No,
That's basically.
No, we are
No.
not buying a new one.
Okay.
No.
No, so
Ladder truck we have,
Yeah.
but we're on a 7-story
Yeah.
building.
On the buildings that we have currently under development, absolutely.
Yeah.
No.
Chief, since you were just up there, at the June 29th meeting, there was rather a spirited discussion at that meeting leading off because the publicity had been in the paper and other things about the reduction in firefighters off of the trucks to save on overtime money. And at that point, a couple things came up about taking a look at the budget mid-year for where for where the city was, and realigning money. And the council could, my understanding is, vote to reallocate out of fund balance, different funds, and put the firefighters back in the trucks with the regular numbers and absorb the overtime as a public safety issue. We're 30 days after the fact. The initial press just died down a little bit, but where is the city on putting the firefighters back into the trucks?
Okay, I want to answer that question because it's more like a finance policy decision. I directed the staff a couple of weeks ago to allocate, to find some savings in the 2026 budget. We are moving forward with an amendment to the budget in August, okay, soon, next month, to be able to fire two firefighters. Yeah, what is it? Fire. So two new positions for the fire department. So they can start the hiring process in September. And then we are going to allocate those for the 2027 budget, okay? That one is coming, okay? So that decision was made. Staff is looking for the savings in our budget, and the amendment is coming in the second meeting in August. It's going to be the direct referral, okay? So the decision to reinstate the 4 firefighter to the engine is going to be a decision that the chief is going to make, and we need to see if the 2 firefighters that we are going to add are going to be able to bring the 4 to the engine. So it's something that is going to be, it had to be discussed.
So what's the realistic hire date for the 2 additional positions?
It's September. So if the council approve the resolution that I am moving forward at the end of, when is the August meeting? August. I don't remember the August.
The 4th Tuesday.
Yeah, and the council approved that resolution, the fire department, the day after, they can start hiring the 2 positions. And I think I have the full support of the council, and I think this amendment is going to move forward.
Typically, when staff knows that there's a potential hiring coming, they can prepare in advance to do that, like to get it going as soon as it passes.
And also remember they have, I don't know, Jason, you're there, you know more about this, but there is I remember that you're going to look at the pay on call pool, isn't it, to hire the 2 positions? No? Oh, no, okay. So this is a decision that I don't make. This is what the chief wasn't able to be here tonight, but this is an operational decision that the chief make, and I am not going to make any call, I don't know what he's planning to do. It's going to be an open search, or they're going to hire from the pipeline that they have with the pay on call. It's going to be up to the fire department. Who?
No, but if it's all right, if you have something.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thanks. Part of your question was if we were able to hire those firefighters, are they implemented right away? I think, is that how I understood part of that question? Assuming we got the green light, and that is entirely up to the mayor and the council, and the chief will do as rapid a hiring process as he can. That said, once there is an onboarding process. So we're public safety personnel, we're highly trained professionals, so we would have to make sure that anybody that gets hired does get up to our training standards before they come off of probation, and we're able to really sort of implement them into our system. That said, we're very good at that. As I mentioned when I was talking earlier, we have an intern program that is extremely robust. We had interns who started in June of this year, brand new interns, and as of earlier this week, they passed their preliminary training. So they are very close to being ready to help us out on the fire truck when they're not in school, of course. But it does take a month and a half to 2 months to get somebody up in training and running once they've been hired. Does that help inform your question? You bet.
Two of you have commented that we're running out of land. I don't understand those comments. It seems like we have a lot of land.
Yeah, we both have a land, and we have a lot of land, and we don't have a lot of land. I mean, like there's infill property opportunities within Fitchburg, but a lot of that land is not really for sale.
Yeah.
Like people are not actually actively selling it. On the east side, there's quite a lot of land that can be developed, but some of that is going slow because of some of the owners for a variety of reasons that the city has little control over. But there's certainly going to be continue to be development, and we look for infill opportunities like the Bowman Plaza, like this potential EJ Plesco project here. Those are great opportunities for infill or redevelopment. But we do have lots of land south of here, right? But not a lot of land is within the urban service area, and we have to expand the urban service area, which is we actually have to get approval from the Capital Area Regional Planning Commission in order to do that. And then also typically it involves extending infrastructure, sewer, water, and some of that is at the developer's dime, but it is a significant undertaking to do that. So we are looking at it. We have two new neighborhood plans as of last year that kind of lays out where we could do that future development going south into that land. One of which the South Stoner Prairie neighborhood plan. Right now, a lot of that area is actually a quarry. So that quarry has to end its operations, and then we have to remediate that land before it can be developed on. But yeah, there is land that's out there, and some of it's not moving for a variety of reasons we can't control. But
we don't know the land.
Yeah, it's more of a struggle than you might imagine,
Yeah.
given how big the city is.
So, and what we need to do is, I have my, listen? Okay. Is we are looking also always for infill development, because we have the sewer and the water main and everything installed already, you know. But if we are trying to go outside, you know, like an example of Terravesa, you know. It's a great neighborhood, Terravesa, but it costs the city a lot of millions of dollars to bring the water and the sewer to that part, you know what I mean? So the idea is to the infill that we have and then move out, you know. But yes, there are plenty of land, but we don't own it, and some of the owner of the land, they don't want to sell, or they are asking for a ridiculous amount of money. And for a developer to come and build something, you know, when they do the numbers, sometimes they need to bring the density. It's a penny. We also need to look at the zoning for that land. If it's not high density, you know, or if they're low density, you know, they had to, you know, they had to break even or make some money, you know. But this is the problem: is the cost of construction, inflation, and all of that are making some of this development also. We have a couple of developers that they have a slowdown because they are looking at the, you know, economic condition and waiting for what is going to happen in the future.
All right, we've got a question here, but I did want to just say one more thing about this. Earlier, Gabriella was nice enough to look up that this year we were able to resurface about 2.6 miles of roadway and 0.4 miles of pathway. We've got something like 145 miles of roadway in the city, and a typical road needs to be repaved roughly every 30 years. So in order for us to keep up maintaining our roads, 2.6 miles per year is not enough, right? So we need to be more like between 4 and 5 miles every year in order to not have a net deterioration of all of our roads. So while we do have a lot of land, we need to be very careful about expanding into that land, because right now we're not keeping up with our current maintenance obligations. So to take on additional maintenance is a bad idea, which is why we've been talking about infill development. You know, if somebody puts another 140 units just down the road, there's zero new roadway that's got to get built. You know, it's already there. And there's just a very short run for water and sewer and electricity and everything. We don't need to run miles, we need to run hundreds of feet. So, yeah, that's the main point I was trying to make is infrastructure costs the city a lot. You saw as well on the CIP numbers, the biggest single item over the next 10 years is $51 million dedicated to roads and streets. Do we really want that number to tick up further?
I also wanted to mention that a potentially useful perspective in this discussion would be that I have done plenty of canvassing in District 4, the area where, actually, I don't know if you were suggesting expanding south. If you were, then the residents who already live in the south in District 4 are very much, like, the one thing that I hear from them is, oh my gosh, there's too much development, we're building all of these apartments, we can't stand it, you know, this is how Fitchburg used to be. I don't want to speak for anybody, but that is absolutely what I have been told from a lot of those residents. So we might live here in District 2 and say, oh, you know, why can't we just expand south? You know, there's plenty of land in Fitchburg. And then District 4 residents might at the same time be telling, you know, our mayor, you need to stop all of the big development. Yeah. Right. So, and you're the mayor of all the districts. And so I just felt like that perspective could also be valuable in this conversation.
Yeah.
And that's part of the reason why the mayor mentioned people don't want to sell. It's because they don't want the development to come.
Exactly.
Other questions? We have another 35 minutes. Yes, ma'am.
Oh, the other thing I want to mention before, Ari, is people is, you know, they look at the apartment because it's more visible, but we have some neighborhoods under construction. We are building single families, okay? But the apartments are more visible. And the other thing that the council and we are very intentional, and we are putting the density in the transit corridors. This is where we're putting the density in Fish Hatchery Corridor, and the Verona Road, and in Uptown, because we are considered those transit corridors. The BRT is going to come to the Fish Hatchery, and this is a great opportunity to put the density in this corridor. And all the development in the Uptown, that one was developed maybe, Richard, when you were in council, like 20 years ago. And the idea was that the train will go, you know, from Madison to Chicago. And this is what the city developed 20 years ago, put all the density in the east part close to the railroad. So I think that what I want to mention is we have good planning at the city, and we are doing the growth, and we are very intentional where we grow. And the other thing I want to point is that we started with a revision of the comprehensive plan and the zoning code, and that one it will be another good opportunity for you, because we are going to have a lot of work groups with the residents, so you can have a voice and tell us, hey, we don't want to stop, or we want to stop the development, or we would like to grow at this pace. And this is where we are doing this revision of the comprehensive plan, because it's going to be a roadmap of how we are going to grow and what is going to be the pace for that growth. So.
I have a question about the Kyle Steger Memorial. Is there anyone who could answer that? About I just wanted to know what's the status, what's the next steps?
I can answer it, but I suppose no. If you actually want to speak a second. All right, so where we are right now is the prairie seed has been planted. It normally takes a couple of years for that to truly establish. So hopefully we'll see that coming up and more regrowth each subsequent year since it has been built. The turf grass has been planted, and we're performing our first initial mowing of it. We actually didn't want to mow it too much because it actually stresses it out and may actually kill it when we do that, especially with the droughts. We do have a culvert installed. Currently right now where we're at is Dawn has actually gotten a memorial tree just this week, actually, which that'll be planted kind of at the discretion of our city forester as well, especially taking drought considerations into the process here. The next thing that will be coming is the installation and purchase of a few benches along the mowed path and pouring of the concrete pads themselves. And then the last portion of it is an additional concrete pad, which will have a bike repair station as well as some bike racks installed into it.
And can you mention how this project is funded?
Yeah, this project is 100% privately funded. It's through donations that were collected by Dawn and various people of the organization, people that were close to Dawn and their family. So if you would like to thank anyone, it would be Dawn and her family for proposing this project and moving it forward.
There'll also be a little library that's going to be along the path as well. No, it's all good. But I appreciate him thanking, our family and friends and people that have contributed so far. It really is a collaborative effort because the city owns the land, but we are paying to develop the land. And we could not do this at all without all these wonderful people up here. And I just feel like our paid city staff and our elected officials are phenomenal. They're approachable. They work with us. I mean, it's collaborative. Maybe don't always agree, but that part's healthy, and it helps us all understand what needs to happen. And it's just been an incredible process, and I'm very, very grateful for Fitchburg and living in this community with these people. So it's wonderful.
I just have kind of a fun question or suggestion about the kids crossing playground. I have 4 grandkids who they call it the Dream Park, and they love to go and play there. I told them it was going to be taken down, and they were like, what? But anyway, it's going to be extra nice when it's rebuilt. 2 of my grandkids are from Chicago, and one thing I've noticed about all the playgrounds in Chicago is the surface. It's kind of a like a foam cork almost thing. It's really soft and
Right there.
okay. And I'm wondering what the surface will be here, because the tires or the shredded tires are.
It's gonna. Yeah.
Okay.
So the flooring, it's actually great that we're at Hostahoche here, because we have a perfect example out here if you guys want to actually go on it afterwards to be a representation of it. But what you'll see in those concepts is several different colors inlaid within the flooring of the playground itself. That is what's called PIP, which is poured in place. It's got different densities of that actual rubber depending on the associated fall height for the play structures. So it is all an engineered flooring for it. The green areas, which are in a couple areas within this concept, are either an integrated hill that we have with play features on it, the swing area, and then also a younger age group play area, which is kind of that 2 to 5 age group area, is going to be artificial turf grass, which is much more tactile, a little bit better for younger kids if they're crawling or there's ground play going on. So it'll be a combination of those 2 styles. I can guarantee it's not going to be the rubber mulch. Some of the comments that I've had is pretty negative on the rubber mulch that we have in place now. It's kind of like a cost saving, so we don't have to consistently replace mulch for it, but it holds heat. So this flooring is not going to be black. It is supposed to dissipate heat a lot better than what's currently there, and it'll be a lot lighter colors.
The other thing you requested is
Actually, I can speak to that too. So funny you brought that up. That's actually been one of the most consistent things, besides shade, that has been brought up within the public comment period here. That's exactly what we're looking for. We can't install a 30-foot tall careening zip line, as cool as that would be. We can't do that, but I have seen some playgrounds that have a linear one where you can kind of toss kids along it. So that has been a consistent feedback. So you're not the only one. Those comments will be relayed to Parks Commission for next week.
And we welcome surveys done by kids that have experienced the park. So keep that in mind.
Yeah, that's the beauty of it. If you want to forward that, by all means, to their parents or anything, please solicit their input.
Oh, no.
Try, I also have the QR code on actual physical copies up here if you want to do it. Otherwise, we try to make it as easy as possible to find on our website, so it'll be under the parks page on our website.
You have another one, isn't it?
You had a question, sir?
I just have a
There it is.
comment about Kids Crossing.
Yeah.
And I guess when Kids Crossing was built, and I'm going to repeat, and you can repeat for the entire crowd what you said, but Kids Crossing was built with an incredible amount of volunteers for Fitchburg, that when it was put in. There's a lot of sweat equity that went into that thing, and I think what it did is it tied the community together. People had a buy-in, and they had a vested interest in that. And I know you said liability and all of that, but if there's a way to tie in community, not just through, you know, Friends of the Fitchburg Parks or whatever, but figure out how to get some activity in there. There was a thing, and I think more recently is Splash Pad, because, and somebody's going to have to remember, was it Rotary or Kiwanis that went, that bought the nozzles and subsidized? You know, that was a big community buy-in. You know, that was a joint effort between that service group and the city. And I think there's a lot of people that said, you know, hey, this is a good thing, and we have a vested interest in it. Either we donate it or whatever. But I don't think you should lose sight of the fact. And finally, on the trees, and Diane, I'll go back to this. I've lived here for 34 years, and I live right across from Hawks, you know, from the park, right across. Those trees, the majority of the trees that are now bigger, with the exception of the oaks, the Parks Department used to drop trees off on Friday afternoon, and the neighbors that lived around the park used to plant them, and we watered them. And the leader of the tree planting was Tom Blotter, the former police chief who lives on Schumann. So I think don't lose sight of the fact that there are community members that will haul water across the street to keep the tree that they put in the ground alive. So just, it saves on taxes, quite frankly. And there are people that have a lot of love for this city that'll do things for Kids Crossing. And, you know, just don't lose sight that people, and the library is a classic example. Half the money raised for that library came from citizens who now, you know, have a vested. Just don't put the thing on the tax rolls. Ask for some help.
You know, I want to tell you, Richard, because I experienced when I built the inclusive playground. But I want to tell you, we have a lot of volunteers in the spring and the fall that plant trees, plenty. And because I go to those events, and I can tell you there's a lot of neighbors that come and help us to plant trees. We have that. And the park department, they have a volunteer list, they reach out to them, and they are cultivating that list. The other thing that we have noticed as a change, we don't have a group of people like we used to have, like I say, hey, Fitchburg, how we can help you to fundraise money? Because we cannot fundraise money, elected officials, we cannot even ask for money. We need to have a not-for-profit organization that they work with us to raise the money. And maybe the Rotary was great 25 years ago. Those people are not. I don't think we have a Rotary here in Fitchburg, okay? So, and the liability is like, you know, there is a lot of liability if the neighbor are, installing this, the equipment. We can lose the warranty, you know. There are more, I would say, compliance with insurance and all of that, and maybe it wasn't, it was an oversight 20, 30 years ago, okay? But the people can still contributing to the, you know, help us to, you know, plant flower, tree in the market. They can do that still when we do this. And Eric is gonna mention another initiative that we have, that we need to find a not-for-profit to take care of that, and maybe we're gonna work with the Friends of the Fitchburg Park to see if they can take that lead. But I'm gonna tell you, when we built the inclusive playground, you know, beside the splash pad, that one was one initiative that I moved forward when I was ALDE representing this district. And the deal was 50-50. The council said, okay, you want to build that inclusive playground? It's 50-50. You need to fundraise 50% of the fund. And that moment was close to $100,000 that I had to fundraise, okay? I couldn't fundraise. I had to look, we worked with the Madison Community Foundation, and then we worked with Jake Johnson, that he was working with another not-for-profit that they did the fundraising. It took 4 years to raise $100,000, and we have one donor that he gave us $50,000. You can imagine a $1.6 million replacement. It's gonna take 10 years to collect the money, okay? So, and we don't see that engagement from neighbors to come and say, hey, do you want money to donate for this? It's not happening, you know what I mean? And this is why the park, this playground has to be replaced because it's a liability, you know what I mean? And we did an audit and they told us you need to replace it. And this is what the city has said, we have to do it. You know, we cannot wait because my biggest concern is that child get hurt there. And then we are gonna have a big, you know, suit in our head, you know what I mean? So, but the other option that we want the community, Eric is gonna explain that.
So previously, you know, there are donor bricks that are installed in the playground, recognizing the people who volunteered their time, efforts, labor, monetary, whatever. We are retaining all of those names, and we're proposing them to be installed in fence pickets that'll be around the north side of the playground, which is separating the parking lot to the actual playground itself. It's going to be one of the first features you see as you walk up to the park. They'll be displayed prominently. In the event that there are volunteers in the future, or if that's something that we go down where there are other initiatives that move forward, we'll have the opportunity for additional pickets to be installed within the vacant areas as well. So it's still a nod to the previous contributors of this project, as well as having a future opportunity as well. That's why I encourage you to take a look at the website. We do have that included within the renderings as well on the website.
Yeah. Do you want to be in charge, the champion of this fundraising?
One comment I'll make, I made it briefly at the start of this, before this meeting started, people don't realize what requirements, legal requirements, are now necessary for playgrounds that were not even imaginable 25, 30 years ago. It's CPSC, which is the Consumer Product and Safety Commission, as well as NRPA, which is National Recreation and Parks Association, are the governing agencies for these requirements. That's why we have rubber flooring. That's why we don't have 30-foot tall zip lines. And I'll end my comment with, if you remember the merry-go-rounds that go really fast and were really fun and you could whip kids off them, there are speed governors and brake systems on them now, to put it in perspective.
Any other question, comments? No?
Thank you.
Thank you. No, thank you for coming. We appreciate all your comments. And you can follow us, email us, and, you know, yeah.
There's some information on the table up here too. Kids Crossing, newsletters, cards. Thank you so much.
And we have some chargers if you want to take one of these.